Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you're watching. This is Kevin Coburn, intuitive medium and tarot reader. Today, I thought I would do a little talk on mediumship and what it's all about. So, if you're interested in a brief synopsis of how it works and what you see presented on TV, and then if you want to learn how to do it yourself, then stick around. Okay, here we go. What is mediumship all about? I'm going to refer to my notes here so I don't forget anything. Um, what to really expect when you work with a medium? So, what is it in layman's terms? Um, it's communication with a spirit person residing in the spirit world, of course. So, a non-physical being who was once physical, i.e., your mom, your dad, your cousin, your friend, who passed on and is now residing in the spirit realm. It's communicating with them. And how is it done? How is it done, you ask? Well, mediumship is done through the well, let's just put this all in one barrel, because you'll hear this a lot. Are you a psychic or a medium? Well, if you're a medium, you're also a psychic because you use the psychic senses. You can be a medium without, you can be a psychic without being a medium, where a psychic just deals with the energy of a person across the table from you. So a person, another physical person reading their energy, that's psychic. Mediumship is reading the energy and thoughts of a spirit person. Now, they both use the same faculties. What are the faculties, you ask? You've heard this before. So, clairvoyance, which is clear seeing, clear seeing. And all these senses can be also viewed in two ways. I'll get to that in a second. So, clairvoyance is clear seeing. So, seeing a picture in your mind. If you see a picture in your mind of a person, that's subjective clairvoyance. Now, if you see the person physically in front of you who's no longer here, a dead, really dead person, that is very rare, and that's called objective clairvoyance. And usually, for that to be objective clairvoyance, other people could see it as well. Now, the same thing goes for clairaudience. Clairaudience is clear hearing, so you'll hear phrases or in words, songs, or whatever in your mind, and if your thoughts, it'll be in your voice. That is subjective. If you hear a voice outside, where outside your physical ears in the same room, but someone sitting across from you can also hear it, then that's subjective clairaudience. Another hard one to experience, but in the movies you see it all the time, but in real life you don't. Some people may be that extremely gifted, but I've never come across them yet. You hear stories, but 99% of us are uh, see and hear subjectively. Other senses, clairsentience, that's just the feeling. So just feeling, oh, the energy, you get that. You walk into a room after an argument, you don't know, you can just feel it in the air. That's kind of the same thing. That you'll fear when a spirit person draws close, you'll feel their energy. It'll affect you. You'll pick up on emotions and so forth. Then there's claircognizance, which is just knowing. We've all had experience before where all of a sudden you just know. You don't know why you know, but you know. And then the other two senses are clairgustance, which is clear tasting, and clairalience, which is clear smelling. When you smell something, oh, I smell. All of a sudden, I smell baby oil, and there's no babies in the room. Why would you smell that? Well, perhaps a mother or someone on the other side, a mother, anyone who was a nurse, was a baby nurse, worked with babies. That's a smell that they would be common in the would be common scent around them, something like that. So you get the gist. Um, there's also this thing what we call the triangle of communication. Now that's when you have a medium, a client, which we call the sitter, and the spirit person, those energies. That's the triangle of communication. And you all have to be um, on the same wavelength. How I would say this is because if one of you's in a bad mood, you really shouldn't be there. That's going to affect the energy. Or if the client is very doubtful and it's like, I don't believe any of this, then it's definitely going to hinder a productive session. So everybody needs to be on the same wavelength. We never have to worry about spirit so much because they won't come near the medium. They won't talk through the medium unless they're on kind of the same vibe, because it's all with psychic charades and how they communicate. Um, so they look in the Rolodex of my mind and see images, situations that I've encountered, just general knowledge. They'll bring that to my mind. That is the way they communicate. It's very uh, seldom where you'll actually hear a direct communication, meaning tell them it would be nice if this happened, but this is John Smith. I am Sarah, your client. I'm her father. I died on 1985 from a heart attack. I have turquoise ring glasses and a big, long gray beard, and I used to drive race cars in my spare time. It would be super if that information all came through, but it's not going to. It just depends. You may get fragments of it, but the best thing you can expect or to prepare for a good session with your medium is going in with an open mind. Yes, you want to hear from Aunt Clara. Aunt Clara may not be the first person who comes through in the session. You may get Cousin Francis, Uncle John, your neighbor down the street when you're a kid, and then towards the end, they may pop in. So going to a medium with keep your expectations in check. That's the best way to approach a reading, because then it makes it a with an open heart and open mind, no expectations, makes a great session for all involved. Let's see. Next, yeah, here we go. You'll see how it's presented in TV, in the movies. That's how, unfortunately, a lot of people are exposed to it, and they see, well, in the movies, the their the ghost or whatever just appears magically, and like on the movie Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg or whatever, they just jump in your body and talk. No, no, that doesn't happen. It's great for TV, but that's unfortunately some people actually expect it to work that way, and it does not. Uh, let's see what else. So yeah, movies are just that. Movies are entertainment. Now, TV, when you see a medium on TV doing a live session, like I'll just throw out a couple names, like your Tyler Henry's and one of the more popular ones today. What you see generally when you see him on I think that's his channel, his network, you will see each session with a celebrity client or whatever, with the actual runtime of the segment is maybe 3 to 5 minutes, when in reality the mediumship session could have usually is anywhere from a half hour to an hour, sometimes longer. And producers rather than showing the entirety of the session, because it may not hold the attention of anyone long enough. They will. That's where the editing comes in, and they'll edit far into the uh, session where there are lots of yeses and reactions and facial reactions and sound bites. Edit them all together and make it look like, oh, they came through like gangbusters and one, two, three, boom, shocking, outrageous. Um, and it doesn't happen that way. As I said, there are lots of energies involved. So the person that comes through may not be the person that they want to talk with at first from the get go. So you'll get information, and if they're not a good match for you, it might be a little choppy. You may get fragments. Well, you need to build up the energy. So we do that by asking for validation. Do you understand this? I'm seeing this. I'm feeling this. Does this make sense to you? Blah, blah, blah. And the more yeses you can get by keeping your statement short, then that's will help build the overall energy, raise it, and allow other people to come in. And usually the people you really want to hear from will make an appearance. Though nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. Um, so, yeah, I said only the hits are shown. They don't show the build up on the editing. Most sessions that I've seen, that I've been in, don't start out like gangbusters. Sometimes they do, but not often. You may have, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, a person who comes through who hasn't been over there long enough and doesn't know how to communicate effectively through a medium. Just because you pass over doesn't mean boom, boom, you got it, you know what to do. Um, Luckily, we have our spirit team, our guides working with us, and they'll help line people up for us. So that works greatly. Now, what was I gonna? My next segment here. Let's see. Um, yeah. So if you're interested and you want to become a medium, you're interested in the process. Um, there are lots of avenues to get yourself going. You don't want like a weekend workshop, go to that, oh, I'm a medium, boom, and start reading professionally. No, not advisable. You have to build up your skills, and you have to have your ethics in check, your ego in check. Yeah, because this people need to relay information in a careful manner. You can't blurt out certain things. I mean, there are people here. Your client is a person. They don't want to hear, oh, I'm seeing a man. Your dad's here and his head's gone or whatever. It's like, no, nobody needs to hear that or see that. So you need some practice and ethics and on how best to present that. You'd be more like, your father here is here, and he tells me, or I feel like he was in a very horrendous accident where there was some maiming involved, and that's all I'm going to get. That will get the client to go, yes, I understand. They don't need to hear his head's gone or whatever. That's just horrible. Anyways, I did a little diversion there. So, anyways, there are lots of books out there. So, if you're interested, YouTube is great. You can watch, you can sample a bunch of mediums and see how they work. Um, and then when you see one that really, the way they emulate themselves, the process, if it jives with you, then look for people, teachers, classes that kind of emulate that. Now, that person, that specific medium may have a book, and that's great. There are lots of books out there, but my recommendation is to use uh, books wisely, meaning there are a lot out. Make sure the book covers technique on how to do it. Most of the books by the celebrity mediums that you'll see are like their life story. Saw the ghost when I was in my cradle. I remember it vividly. I talked with my dead aunt for years growing up. That's not very helpful. That just sets standards, uh, these standards in your head of what you think it has to be for you. You don't have to be the seventh son of the seventh son and come from a long line of psychics or whatever. Everybody has the ability to connect in some fashion. You may not be learn it well enough to be on the stage, but you can certainly learn how to make a valid connection, and it will help you in other areas of your life. So it's worth looking into. You don't have to, if your ultimate goal is not doing it professionally, it's still well worth investigating and learning. So the books, yeah, though I talked about the books. Now, there's lots of training out there. So I would recommend you look for workshops that are more intensive, meaning not just a 2-hour workshop. You're not going to learn a lot then. You need like at least like a weekend, or better yet, if you can manage to do like a week-long type thing, great. The more of those type things that you do and you work with other people, that helps build your confidence. That helps build your confidence. So then you get into mentorships. If you want to work with a specific medium that you really um, admire, you love how they work, and they in turn offer training, seek training through them. And perhaps they also have like a mentorship program where you learn over an extended period of time. You keep going back and working with different people, working on different techniques, and working on yourself. You find a lot of this work has a lot of spiritual work you have to do in yourself. Now you'll hear talks about, oh, you have to be meditating from day one. A lot of teachers subscribe to that. It doesn't work for me, I'm sorry to say. My mind is far too active. I can quiet my mind. Yes, I can do that. But I don't feel that if you can sit for an hour every day at the same time every day for and months and years on end to connect with the spirit world, to connect with your guides and so forth. If you can't do that, then don't feel that there's no hope for you, because that's not my cup of tea, and I can do it. And I've been doing it since 2010 is when I started training for mediumship. As far as the tarot stuff, that's been longer. I think I covered that in my other video. So, anywho, that's the whole package. As far as if you want to become professional, don't just go to one workshop and say, okay, I'm ready to put up my sign and start charging. Though each person is different, you should plan on a few years of honing your skills before you ever step out into the public arena and start charging money for it. So, but it's well worth it. If this is an avenue you want to pursue, it's great. It's well worth it. But do it for you. Don't do it for, oh, I want to be a star. I'm going to earn so much money. Because if that is your mindset, then it's not going to work for you. Do it because you love working with spirit. You love helping people, help heal people with grief and so forth. Showing, because mediumship is all about proving the continuation of life after physical death. So if you love that aspect of it, keep going. And if you're out to just be a star, the next celebrity medium, well, good luck. Who knows? You might make it someday. But just keep your ego in check. And if you follow if you keep your ego in check and just follow your guide's help, communicate with your guide as often as you can, um, and you'll get answers to your questions. They won't be instant. A guide doesn't say, "Yes, I hear you, Johnny. Here's what you need to do." How you communicate with your guides is, you can talk vocally, that's fine. You just put out a message, an intention. I need help with this. Help me with this issue, whether it's a spiritual one or not. And it may not be instantaneous, it probably won't, but eventually you will get some type of sign. Something will fall into place and you go, aha, I get it. So look for those moments. All right. So I hope that wasn't too uh, rambling. I think I covered all the areas I wanted to. So thanks so much for watching. Again, I do personal sessions, mediumship sessions, and tarot readings, and or. So if you're interested, look me up, my website. And until next time, take care.